going to take the North and never give it back.
So that's a good pick. You get the corner. I got to go bold, right? I got to go bold for this.
Yeah, she's got some nice.
Welcome back to the Unbearable Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Brad Barron. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're out there on YouTube, and also rate the show 5 stars everywhere that you get your podcast. What is going on today, Bears fans? It is a Wednesday, and we are going to be breaking down the Chicago Bears versus the Vikings. And if it feels like we just recently broke that down, you would be correct. We did that, 3 weeks ago? The Bears went against the Vikings when they were 9-2, and we were just a lovely 4-7 at that time. Unfortunately, the losing streak just continued. But a lot of it is the same, different coaches. We no longer have Flus, but we'll break it down just like we always do. So we'll break down the opponents, the offense, the defense, the special teams, who has the edge, and also the predictions. Now, with this being a game that we just went through, probably be a little bit quicker is my guess, but we'll see. We'll see out there for sure. And Joe, what's good, saying Bear down. He's already saying Vikings going to whoop us. We'll have to see about that. But I will actually say, I was surprised when we first went through this, because I remember when we did the preview last time, I was saying that the Vikings, they have one of the best defenses, and we're going to continue to discuss that today. But with Brian Flores sending blitzes, exotic packages, and the Bears were able to actually have some pretty darn good production against them. Because when we look at what happened last time, last time we had Matt Eberflus, and ultimately Caleb Williams, 32 of 47 for 340 yards, 2 touchdowns, and then on the ground, 33 yards for Caleb Williams, only 30 yards for DeAndre Swift on 13 carries, but then receiving over 100 yards to DJ Moore, 86 yards for Keenan Allen, and 64 for Cole Kmet. So a lot of those people getting involved. Rome Odunze, 10 targets, 5 catches. And I remember when we were breaking down the tape, it was 10 targets. And then we looked at it, it was okay, later on, that's when we started to see those targets go out there and some of those completions, because it was the throw from DJ Moore over to Rome Odunze. And then this was either the first or second game with Thomas Brown as the offensive play caller. So really what this boils down to is, can the Bears dominate against, or can the Bears stay in there? Because last time it was an overtime game. We made the miraculous comeback and ultimately ended up coming up short. But let's talk about the injuries, because right now on Wednesday, I was like, you know what? I'm going to continue to just go live on Wednesdays, make it so that it's more consistent. But there is no injury report out there. Now, the big thing to always watch out for is just the offensive line injuries, just to see if anything's out there. It doesn't seem like it, but just monitor that. And I think also Swift, DJ Moore, they were banged up last week. Just something to always just kind of keep a little bit of an eye on. And also with Gervon Dexter, with him being banged up as well. So let's get into our offensive preview. This offense, like we said, had success against one of the best defenses that's out there. Now, will this change against the Minnesota Vikings? But I feel like a big part of this that I want to talk about is how the Bears were able to attack them last time. One of the reasons why they found success was because the offensive line was staying strong. They were able to kind of know where the blitz was coming, and which was very impressive, because when we've seen Flores, he's trying to confuse the offensive line. He's trying to confuse the quarterback. And really, we did a very good job against them. Now, this offensive line, when we did our film review on Monday, just as a little recap for those that listen to the show, I actually came away, believe it or not, rather impressed with the offensive line, because I went in with expectations they were going to be trash, right? Because we all felt like they were absolute garbage. Watching the tape, all of us in the chat were like, they look a lot better than we remember. They looked a lot better than we thought. So that was, I think, something that was different, right? Because some of the sacks that they gave up, yeah, there were some bad breaks. But ultimately, when you looked at it, Caleb Williams had over, I think it was like a 78% pressure to sack rate. It was just anytime he got pressured, he was brought down for the sack. They did a very good job at keeping him contained, but ultimately the line did not lose that as much as I think we thought. And it's weird saying that. And I know there's probably people out there that get frustrated by hearing that, but it was honestly a good blocking game. For everyone that was in the tape review, know that. But ultimately, can they keep doing that? Can they keep him upright? Because I felt they did a great job last time when they went against the Vikings. But now is Brian Flores, very, very good defensive mind. Is he going to switch things up? Is he going to be trying to do a little bit more stunts? Is he going to be trying to throw in a little bit more at Caleb? But another reason why Caleb was very good against them was because when they send the blitz, they're not doing a blitz and then man-to-man. They're doing blitz and then zone coverage, something that Caleb has been very good at. So to me, maybe Flores tries to switch it up and try to keep going man-to-man so that Caleb is very, very good against the zone. He kind of knows where it's going. I think that might be something just to keep an eye out for, because Brian Flores, that's what he was running, a lot of zone against Caleb, a lot of blitz, zone, and Caleb was able to essentially pick that apart and do pretty darn well against it, having one of his better games against that. So that is something I want to be watching out for. Also, what's good? We got Taco Man and Amphiaris. I hope I always pronounce that right, but I appreciate y'all out there. Thank you so much. Taco Man saying tank-a-thon, fellas. And also, the game plan was all wrong and the scheme was flawed. Yeah, I think ultimately with this game plan going into the Vikings, because when we saw the 49ers, against the 49ers, they thought they were going to be doing man-to-man like everybody else. They were running split zone. It threw them off. In the first half, you could throw it away, right? What are we going to do now? Because can we adjust on the fly? It seems like we adjust during the game, but after the first quarter, I'd like to get a touchdown. I'd like to get some points in the first quarter, because then we can at least keep it somewhat close and hopefully have a chance by the time it gets to the fourth quarter. So when we also look at this team, let's actually flip over to their defense. Because when you do look at this defense, yet again, the PFF grades, they highlight certain individuals, but not the entire team. Jonathan Grenard, still a very, very good defensive end. He's someone that, I still say this, in free agency, I didn't really buy into him. But watching the tape, I was like, okay, I was not familiar with Grenard's game. Grenard blew up a lot of the running plays. He blew up a lot of the passing plays. He looked great. He looked great against us. Blake Cashman's been a good linebacker in the for this team this year. And also Murphy Jr. has been a good slot corner. PFF has him graded as the 13th best slot corner in the NFL. And also, how can we forget Andrew Van Ginkel, who has just been a Swiss Army knife for them, getting interceptions, getting sacks. He's just been someone that is causing havoc for this defense, for the Minnesota Vikings. Also, Dallas Turner is starting to get a handful more reps, looking a little bit better. I remember when we were previewing Dallas Turner, the rookie out of Alabama. Dallas Turner is an athlete. He's a very athletic player, still had very good college production, don't get me wrong, but he showed a lot of potential. It seemed like he was just scratching the surface of what he could become. He's been looking a lot better this year as of late, so another person to just keep an eye out for. Yet again, they're going to continue to try and send the blitz. They are the number one. They're the number one team in blitzes. They will just keep on trying to throw this offensive line off. So the quick passes are going to be key. Now, we were able to really kind of pick apart this team because yet again, their secondary, not as great. That's kind of the weak part, is they'll try to hit you with a lot of different exotic blitzes to throw the quarterback off and then try to have them make mistakes. Caleb has been playing relatively mistake-free football. Now, because I do want to still call out him having 2 turnover-worthy plays last week. So yes, he hasn't thrown an interception since God knows when, but he's still putting the ball somewhat in harm's way, but not a lot, not very, very, very frequently. So let's also talk a little bit about another thing to watch out for, because I want to at least highlight this, because I just want to say it, the whole run game. because I don't love talking about it because it's just not going to happen. We're going against the number one run defense, or one of the top run defenses out there in the Minnesota Vikings, and that's where last time we went against them, 13 carries, 30 yards. And when we were talking about injuries, how could I forget Roschon Johnson? That's someone we got to look out for, because when it's just DeAndre Swift out there now, he's not getting yards. It's just like I said during the tape review, just burn the entire playbook with the running plays. We don't need to run the football. Why? Because the running game just simply does not work for us. It's reminiscent of the Matt Nagy era, where it feels like the only thing we can do is pass the ball. And the thing we just continuously can't do is run that football. So that is the thing. And exactly like what Taco Man said, it's gross. So let's see what you're saying out there too, everyone. So saying, I'm interested what Caleb looks like against a team he's faced before. That is a really good point. Because, yeah, I think that's a phenomenal point, because now they've seen Caleb. They've seen this offense. They've seen Thomas Brown calling plays. So now what are they going to go with it? And how do they attack it? Because like we were saying before, do they switch it up and try to do some blitz with man looks? Do they try to, like, what type of exotic things are they going to try with it? Because Caleb was really able to, pick this apart. So, and also, yeah, Taco Man saying too, Herbert is missed. Agreed. This is why we don't pay running backs. This is why we don't pay running backs. I love my running backs to run forward, pound out the yards. But hey, right, what we're seeing right now in the tape is that Swift just, it's that whole bumping it to the outside, not trying to lower the shoulder, because he's never been that guy. He's never been that guy to just lower his shoulder, get the yards after contact. So when he gets hit, since he's going sideways, he goes back, right? He's not plowing forward. He's not doing the Walter Payton where you're just trying to plow into the other guy, get some of the yards, fall forward. And that's the thing. So let's talk about matchups. The matchup to watch for. My best matchup that I'm watching out for, I'm going to go with Braxton Jones versus Jonathan Grenard. Braxton Jones, now, this is another thing. I know it's fun to say, and fans love it when you say Braxton Jones was awful last week, but he really wasn't. He just had 2 bad beats. We watched the tape, and everybody that watched the tape with me knows this. Like, seriously, we were surprised. We're watching this going, he's not having that bad of a game. Like, holy crap. Like, he really wasn't. To me, it's Braxton Jones versus Jonathan Grenard. Because, right, the fans still are mad. Like, we're still not happy with it, because we did see those 2 sacks. But that is going to be the big matchup to just kind of watch out for, in my opinion, because if Braxton can at least hold his own against Grenard, then when they're doing all the different blitzes, all the other pieces, that is going to be something definitely to watch out for. That is my matchup to watch. But my next thing is the X Factor. And when we talk about the X Factor, my X Factor is going to be Keenan Allen again. Actually, I'm gonna go with Cole Kmet. I was gonna say Keenan. Keenan's my number 2 X Factor, because Keenan was highly used last game. 86 catches. You can attack this team in the slot. They typically give up a lot of slot yards. So that's why I think Keenan could be that. But I'm going to give it to Cole Kmet, because he was a no-show. Technically, he had no targets last week, because the one target he did get and drop, that was a 2-point conversion. Cole Kmet has not looked good. He's not been blocking well. He's not been catching well. He's not been looking good. And right now, his PFF grade, before, he was a top 10 tight end, which I agree. The guy should be a borderline top 10 tight end. But right now, his PFF grade kind of reflects how it's supposed to. It reflects how he's played. Number 32 tight end out of 79 qualifying tight ends. So really dropped off. And I agree. He's really dropped off since, and I joked about this, since he had his podcast. But honestly, really, it does kind of line up. But really, Cole Kmet has really kind of suffered since. And I hate saying that, because literally Cole Kmet was our favorite. He was our favorite player, and continues to be one of our favorite players. But right now, it's frustrating. It's really frustrating. So I'm going to say he's the X factor, because how do you rebound? Cole wasn't blocking well. He wasn't catching well. He wasn't getting open. Just everything. He was playing bad. Just period. End of story. But that's our offensive preview. Before we flip over to the defense, just want to read a couple of the other comments. Michael, my friend, what's good? It's been going well. It's been going well. You can see the new background. I shifted the blue light over there, moved the orange light over there. We're going to have some stuff changing around. So all those on YouTube, you'll just kind of, it's like a spot the difference book. You'll be like, okay. And then, I also raised the helmet. Spot the difference next time, right? Take a picture, take it for the other one. But yeah, it's been good. And Michael's saying, I don't have a good feeling about this game or the rest of the season. Yeah, I tell you, after this one, we'll have to see. But actually, right after I do this show, part of the reason why I might actually do this a little quicker is also because I'm looking forward to looking into some of the draft content. And for those that are new to the show, I love saying this just because the draft time is our time. I love it. We have 100+ page NFL draft guide that I create by myself, like with everything on it. And we have deep dives into every player group, everything like that. So already started on the centers, and I'm sorry to say right now it's not looking great. So Brian Kelly is probably our biggest person we need to go after in free agency. I'll just say that so far. But yeah, we'll see. Taco Man saying we need to throw the ball deep. Yeah, it'd be nice to see, right? It'd be awesome to see some of those deep balls because we saw some of those get open. And then, yes, hopefully that run blocking can be fixed. And also Michael saying too, latest mock draft has the Bears taking the offensive tackle from LSU. Yeah, they're going to have their pick of the litter at that offensive tackle group right there. That's what it's looking like right now is they could go offensive tackle. There's going to probably be some good defensive ends out there too. So that's something definitely to look out for just because Michael Graham, the D tackle, yeah, he's going top 5 unless we continue this historic bad run that we're on. We're able to get into that top 5. Honestly, if we came away with Michael Graham, I wouldn't be sad about that. He's, for those that don't know, defensive tackle out of Michigan. He's been like the heart and soul yet again. Like I always love the players that have been like the best at their position for multiple years. It's basically been him at the defensive tackle position for the past at least 2 years. Been incredible. So speaking of incredible players, that didn't work. Let's actually go to their offense then. If we want to talk about incredible players, let's go over to Sam Darnold, Justin Jefferson, Hawkinson, Jones, Addison. This offense is humming. And with Cam Robinson at left tackle, Cam Robinson's been solid at filling in for their injured left tackle. After Darisaw went down, Robinson hasn't been great at left tackle for them, but he's still been good. PFF giving him the 42nd highest graded tackle grade at left tackle. And Brian O'Neill, still really good at right tackle, the 10th highest graded tackle overall. But when you look around, very, very good weapons. Jefferson, one of the best wide receivers in the league. Addison, highly underrated. Hawkinson still coming back after that injury. Right now, PFF has him graded as the 7th highest graded tight end in the league. And Darnold, 6th highest graded quarterback, dominating. And Aaron Jones, who diced us up last game with 106 yards on the ground, still a very, very good running back and can also get open. And when we look at it last time, Jalen Johnson essentially locked down Justin Jefferson. 2 catches, 27 yards, 5 targets for him. Now, there was a couple pass interference calls last time, but ultimately it was Jordan Addison and TJ Hawkinson beating us. It kind of reminds me a little bit of last week where the second wide receiver went off Deebo Samuel was held in check, and then the tight end also went off. So this is what happens. They go after whoever Jalen's not on, and they're able to attack us with their tight ends as well. Sam Darnold threw for 330 yards, and Aaron Jones just was able to gash us on the ground. Now, do I think that anything different is going to happen? Any different things are going to change? Well, Gervon Dexter has to be out there. If he's not out there, I actually did not look to see if there's anything going on with Gervon. Chat, I don't know if y'all know anything going on with Gervon, but Gervon he's been good. He's been a very good player for us. And then this is also where you can attack this team. Risner, Brandell, their guards are not that great. That is the weak part of this offensive line. Cam Robinson isn't amazing at tackle, but he's serviceable. He can at least hold up. And the way that our defensive ends have been performing, yeah, he's going to hold up against us type of deal. So it's going to be, hopefully Javon can be out there and Javon can be, Javon can at least cause some havoc up the middle, because that's what we need. When we were watching the tape, what was going wrong on defense? Well, first off, they could just do whatever they wanted against us because we weren't generating pressure. Also, we are throwing some really exotic blitz packages. Maybe they want to keep trying to do that with Washington as the defensive coordinator. We know he likes to try and get pressure, but it just simply was not working. There was one play in particular I remember watching where they had 3 people running and they just completely blocked them onto one side. So the defensive line stonewalled. And then they have Montez Sweat on an island where they have multiple people just blocking him. But the other 3 being blocked by 4 people literally couldn't go anywhere. And it just made you laugh and make you feel sad, a little dead inside, because our defensive line can't do anything. The only person that can is Montez Sweat, but he looks like a shell of himself because of him being banged up basically all this year, never feeling like he's truly been the healthy Montez Sweat that we know who he is. Because, yeah, simply put, not producing. Also, in peril saying injured Darisaw is still better than Braxton. He'd prefer Darisaw with one leg over Braxton. Darisaw is a beast. Darisaw is definitely a beast, though. But then also Taco Man saying Stevenson gonna get picked on this game. Agreed. And I think part of this, you look at the Bears defense, right? Jalen Johnson, really good. Kyler Gordon, PFF's 18th highest graded corner, which I agree with. He's so good. When we were watching the tape, he is the run defense. He slides in, makes the tackle, and if Kyler Gordon doesn't do it, TJ Edwards might slither in and make a play, but that's it. That's it. Javon made a couple plays too, and that's why he's PFF's 18th highest graded defensive tackle. Kevin Byard, 9th highest graded safety. Owens has an 84 grade from PFF. He's finding some new life in this Bears system. And who's the odd man out? Stevenson. 87th graded corner according to PFF, and he's been playing that way. That's why to me, Terrell Smith, he went to Minnesota. I would love to see him get more reps out there. Kind of feels like a little bit of a homecoming to me. Give him that play time. And also, I agree out there, chat. Tremaine Edmonds, he is someone that I'm losing faith in right now. He is over pursuing. He's not looking good. And I mean, I never really had faith. I actually did not like that signing at all. And I hate, like, when a signing, and when I disagree with a signing, I don't hope it flops because I'm a Bears fan. I want it to work. Edmonds has been bad. Edmonds has not played well. And I've said this last year too. Even though he got a lot of stats, it wasn't he wasn't in the right spot still. Like TJ Edwards was doing that. TJ Edwards has not played the same that he did last season, but Edmonds has still been bad. Edmonds has still been out of position in coverage, been out of position in the run game, just not been looking that great. And yet again, PFF grades also reflect that, him being ranked 66th linebacker out of 84 out there as well. So I would not be mad if they got rid of him and just tried to start over. I actually have not looked at his contract yet, but I feel like you could actually get out of it if you wanted to, and then just get a cheap linebacker like everybody else. Like, just do something like that, right? Spend the money elsewhere. Spend the money on offensive line. Spend the money on Trey Smith at right guard and Ryan Kelly at center, right? Do that. That's what we need, right? We don't need a running back and a linebacker. We need linemen. We need big uglies up front. That's what we need. So, and that's actually why they're going to run all over us. That's why it feels like they're just going to continue to run all over us. And hopefully Washington having more time to prepare. Hopefully something good comes out of it. But with this defense, you saw all things about Eberflus. He's still a really good defensive play caller. He is. And the players hated him. And yeah, when he was there, when he took over for Alan Williams, this was a phenomenal defense. The way he was able to turn this around, then when they started giving up, it didn't look the same. Now you have a drop-in play caller, and now it's just going to be about effort. And as we know, when you fire a head coach, now people start to play for themselves. And Hopefully they can at least generate some pressure. It seems like that's going to be Washington's calling card, is trying to dial something up. He tried confusing the line, so maybe they see something like that. But ultimately, if I'm looking at the matchups, the matchup to watch out for, I'm going to go Tyreek Stevenson against Jordan Addison because that's what gashed us last time. It was terrible. It was horrific. It was gruesome. We know what Jalen's going to do against Jefferson. I could see Jefferson wanting to do something, but Addison ultimately is going to be the person that needs to be locked down as well. And you flip over to the X Factor. Oh, gosh. X Factors. I don't even know who to say. X Factor, I'm going to say, you know what? Edmonds. I'm going to give it to you. Edmonds, they have a tremendous tight end. You're the size of a tight end. You are quicker than a tight end, faster than a tight end. Don't let the tight end get over 100 yards for God knows how many weeks. And the running back is going to be trying to catch passes. To me, that is going to be the thing. That is my X factor out there. Also, Ron, what's good? Saying 58-3 Vikings. Phenomenal prediction out there. But Ron, you failed to forget about our special teams. What if our special teams brings us back? So let's get into our last little segment before we get into the previews. Special teams review. Ultimately, we're going to be in the dome. Let's try to not get kicks blocked because they were able to block this last time. There's not much else to say. The special teams has just been bad. And when we say who has the edge, now we get into who has the edge. And to me, it's a clean sweep. Vikings have it all. The only thing that, yet again, I would say the Bears are closest to is just the passing attack. But with Brian Flores having the second time going against the Bears, I give the edge to Brian Flores, period. Right? So I would say Vikings have an edge over all of us in every single category. And also keep in mind, the reason why this was close towards the end was Bears were able to get back in some chump time and then also get the ball back and then basically tie the game and then lose in the end. But also, too, I remember texting my father-in-law, who's a Vikings fan, saying, Vikings don't deserve to win this. This is a Bears game, right? We fumbled the punt return. It was not a pretty game for us. So let's get into our game predictions. So what are you all thinking? What is your game day prediction? Let me know down below. And also give me a bold prediction that you have out there. And Philip, my friend, what is good? I am doing better than the Bears. I'll tell you that much. Agreed. Thank you, my friend. Yeah, definitely doing better than the Bears so far. So let me know y'all's predictions out there and what you think is going to happen. Because I don't know, with it being a division game, realistically, it stays close. But I think when you're looking at these at face value, if they continue to play the way they did, this is going to be a big game. We haven't even mentioned that it's a Monday night game, so it's prime time. Are we going to just embarrass ourselves again on primetime television? Hopefully they come out with some sort of grit, some sort of peace out there. And yeah, I don't know if the Bears can go out there and do well. And right now the score, we're getting 34s out there. Yeah, 34-24, DJ 2 touchdowns. That's actually a really good prediction. Actually, I really like that. And then Vikings 34, Bears 17 is what we're seeing out there too. I'm just going to do a quick glance of the Vikings scores. They put up 42 against the Falcons, 23 against the Cards, 30 against us, 20 against the Rams. They really have not scored as much as I thought. But yet again, our defense might be extra special this week. I'm going to go 17-27. Vikings end up winning. Then it feels a little closer, but this could either be a super close game or just an absolute blowout, absolute crap fest out there. And the bold prediction, oh man, I don't know if this is bold. Actually, no, I was gonna say DeAndre Swift under 20 yards. I was gonna just go absolutely bold and be like, yeah, not gonna happen. Yeah, it's hard to even do a bold prediction nowadays because you're like, okay, running game's not gonna happen. They're gonna get a lot of rushing yards on the ground. We're not going to get any sacks. We're not really going to get any interceptions. You know what? I'll actually do this. I'll say we get 3 sacks. I'll actually say that. I think that Washington's going to try and dial up the blitz, try and get something going. They'll confuse, and that's going to be my bold prediction. So, Taco Man saying 17-17 tie. Yeah, that would be. But he's also saying 20-34 Vikes garbage time. Ron saying Caleb gets sacked 20 times. Yeah, we're going to go for a record here, Ron. We're going to get the most sacked quarterback of all time. But really, it's been a brutal season. But hey, thank you for sticking with us. Like and subscribe if you're out there on YouTube. Rate the show 5 stars ever that you get your podcast. Even though this season has been a little bit brutal, we'll still keep you covered with Bears coverage, and the offseason, we will definitely have you covered with all the draft coverage, all the free agent coverage you want. As I start getting my stuff together, maybe we will have a little draft preview just to wet our whistle a little bit. We have to break down coaches. We have to break down so many other things. So even though it's a crappy time, the future will be always better. Life of a Bears fan, right? So with that, Unbearable Sports Podcast, we are out.
Yeah, she's got some nice long hair, and you know that she's a